Thank you guys for joining us, and welcome to week 6 of the DKMR Invitational. I'm your host, Kobayashi Maru, and with me is DKMR D2. Tonight we are casting a great event. We have Alchemixt facing off against Kisstafer, and then potentially we have him facing our champion, DKMR Brad. So, the players are going to be getting into the game a little bit faster than normal this week because we had some technical difficulties.
Alright.
So game 1, guys, starting it up. And in the mulligans, gotta also fix that.
Yeah, so we got a lot of mind games right here because he is a former teammate, so we kind of know what kind of decks he plays, and we know that, you know, he likes to play a lot of aggro. So and look at that, starting right off with a hunter.
Yep.
So we were basically, I mean, we tried to go through all the mind games. It's like, is he gonna open with an aggro deck? Is he not? You know, what should we do? Looks like Kisstafer opens with Miracle Rogue, and looks like Alchemixt starting off with basically the counter right here. So let's see if Kisstafer can do something about this.
Yeah, and as you can see here, I'll fix the screen in just a second. There we go.
Alright, while you're fixing it up, I'll talk about what's going on. Alchemixt starts off with a Leper Gnome. That's basically the perfect play. You want either Leper Gnome or Tracking. I think Leper Gnome is probably better. You want to get that damage in right away, and particularly on turn 1 when it's really, really hard to deal with. Really, all you can do, like the best thing you can do is either backstab it or coin into a Shiv. Or I guess you could coin into using your hero ability, but then you're taking 4 damage. In this situation, I think Kisstafer is going to end up taking 6 damage from that Leper Gnome, which is really, really annoying because he liked not to use the coin to take care of that Leper Gnome.
Yeah, keep going. I'm going to have to take a second to get these overlays worked out.
Alright, so we have Alchemixt electing not to use the hero power. He's going to go for a Tracking. And he's choosing between Kill Command, Leroy Jenkins, and Starving Buzzard, all very, very strong cards. So it's a little bit of a tough decision. You might think he auto picks the Leroy Jenkins, and he eventually goes with Leroy Jenkins. It is a lot of damage. So yeah, that's probably the right pick. But you know, all those cards are very, very good, and nothing you want to throw away there. And he does that so that he can use his Abusive Sergeant. He had a one drop and a 1-drop, so that's why he went for that rather than using his hero power. And yeah, next turn he'll probably be able to flare and hero power, so he's setting up his mana very well. And Kisstafer is in a bit of trouble here. I think he might just dagger and hit the face to set up a Blade Flurry next turn.
Alright, almost there.
So yeah, he's no matter what he does, he's going to be taking. He's already down to 26. He's definitely down to 24. He's never going to be able to silence that Leper Gnome. I guess he could, you know, I don't know, like sap it at some point. But yeah, there's no world in which he wasn't going to be at 24 in like the next couple turns. And yeah, so now he's already at 24. He's definitely going to be at 22, and then he's going to take 2 more from Leper Gnome. So he's effectively already at 20 health. This is a really, really poor position for him to be in. I think so. Alchemix goes with the Flare first. It's nice to draw that card first. Very solid play. And he goes for the hero power, which I think is the correct play because running that, there's really no point to running out that boar by itself with the Leper Gnome. You're just setting yourself for Fan of Knives. And you can always play Leper Gnome later. You have the mana to do so. So yeah, now Kisstafer is in a bit of trouble. He's at 20 health. He's basically already at 18 health because of the Leper Gnome, no matter what he does. And he is reaching for that coin. I think he's going to coin out that Violet Teacher, and I think this is a bit of a mistake on his part waiting this long. Like, I understand that he wants to get that Violet Teacher out on turn 3, but I think he took way too much damage in order to accomplish that goal. I think he took probably about 6 more damage just, you know, trying to be a little bit greedy, getting that Violet Teacher out quicker.
And it's just gonna die now, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
wow. I'm just joining you because I was setting up all those overlays, but yeah, you're absolutely right. 14 health, another Leper Gnome down, and that Violet Teacher comes out and gets killed. I mean, that's a pretty brutal start. Looks like Alchemixt has a considerable lead with Leroy, Wolf Rider, Leper Gnome. I think I've been listening to your analysis, and it seems spot on now that I'm watching the position of the board.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Kisstafer has all these cards and nothing to do with them. Like a funny way to make fun of newer players is like, oh, he has less health, therefore he's losing. But when you're facing facing a hunter, that's basically how it works. You just look at the life totals, and that's how you know who's winning, because you're always going to be in the race against the hunter. So yeah, basically the score is 30-14. Alchemixt way out in front. And his mana works out perfectly too. He can Wolf Rider plus hero power next turn, and he can Leroy Jenkins plus hero power next turn. So, I mean, it's looking like Kisstafer is going to be dead in a couple turns, and I do not see Kisstafer winning this race.
I mean, it would take a miracle.
It would take a miracle, but unfortunately, hunters are miracle hunters. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, God.
There's no way he cannot win. I don't think Kisstafer can win.
I think, you know what? If somehow he played Leroy and then it disconnected, so he didn't get to attack with Leroy, that might leave a possibility for Kisstafer to win, I believe.
Yeah, essentially that's basically it. We're looking for a disconnect or bust for Kisstafer right now.
Yeah. I've got that in my repertoire of potential ways for him to lose.
Exactly, and yeah, he's gonna go ahead backside. I'm gonna go draw on a card, but
all right,
he knows it.
That was fast.
That was fast, yeah. So it looks like bit of a poor deck choice from Kisstafer. We were talking amongst ourselves, the possibility that Alchemixt might play, 1, 2, maybe even 3 aggro decks, and basically. We went through all the possibilities, thinking, he thinks he's gonna go with the aggro deck, and so therefore, we might have psyched ourselves out a little bit there.
I think what happens typically in these he said, she said back and forth over and over is that typically a person goes with what they're traditionally known for. You know what I mean? Like you can't go against your own instincts. I feel like.
Yeah. I think like maybe we psyched ourselves out a little bit there. And we have some Molten Giants here. Sorry to to cut myself off there, but anyway. So yeah, I think maybe in hindsight would have been better to open with a deck that counters aggro. We thought that maybe he thought that we were thinking that he was going to do that. So that's why I think that's the reason why we're just going with a standard Miracle Rogue here. But yeah, going this next game, we have a Molten Giant.
A Molten Giant Druid. Looky what we have here. I mean, this could be incredibly strong. Druid's traditionally really strong versus aggro. You've got your Keepers of the Grove. You've got Ascension Shieldmaster thrown in there. Well, we know what that's good versus anything aggro. And, of course, you've got your Ancient of Lore, which you don't want early game, but is fantastic for either card draw or healing. And then, you've got things in this deck like Innervate. You've got Mark of the Wild, potentially. You certainly have... Druids of the Claw, and look at this, an Innervate does come out into Ascension. That is a strong turn right there. Look at that turn too.
Very, very strong. The only thing that would be really, really weak to would be coin Deadly Shot, but he didn't see a Deadly Shot last game, so it's a very good chance that it picks up a good a lot of value here.
Like even a Mark of the Wild, like Wolf Rider or Mark of the Wild Boar or something is still worth it, right? Because there are bigger taunt minions you're gonna want to stop. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, look at this Mark of the Wild Trap. See, I mean, this is
Hunter's Mark. Sorry,
Hunter's Mark. Sorry, I keep saying Mark of the Wild. Yeah, cool. Hunter's Mark. I mean, that again, that's a good play, but ultimately, with the amount of taunt that I'm imagining is going to be run in this deck, I think that this is really good for Kisstafer. That it's not good, but it's favorable, I should say.
Yeah, I think he might just not attack here.
Yeah,
I think you just leave up that taunt. Like, what are you gonna do about it, Hunter?
You could silence it next turn, right, and just get him back to a 3/5.
That is true. That is something he could do.
I wouldn't use the Innervate this turn to do the silence, but maybe next turn.
But I think there's merit to, even if you don't silence, it's just making him run into that guy. Just he has to use something to kill it. And the thing is, Hunter. Okay, he's gonna set up the trap. I kind of disagree with this. Yeah. I think part of his reasoning may be that Alchemixt may play a bow next turn, and in that case, you're basically reducing 3 damage over the long haul.
I see what you're saying. That's an interesting perspective on it. In that case, I think he should have innervated Silence, his own minion.
Yeah.
Because then the minion stays alive, and effectively you get the health, the damage out of it, even though it's no longer got taunt. But Keeper for 2, getting rid of that 3 is really nice.
Yeah, that's super nice to be able to kill that. Yeah, so.
For 3 damage, he's got the potential to bring down another Wolf Rider and Abusive Sergeant. That's really sweet. Of course, this is for face, because if Alchemixt wants to win, he's really got to put the damage on the Druid.
Exactly.
Saving the coin, what do you think he's saving that for? The Unleash combo?
Probably. I think he's just thinking like, I don't need to use the coin now. Why use it if I don't need it? You know, like you could just throw. What are you gonna throw out? You know, that for the extra mana. He's just like, well, my mana works out so far. I could probably use this coin later. If I get Leroy or something, I can go Leroy Unleash maybe a turn earlier, or I can maybe Leroy Unleash plus Timberwolf lead a turn earlier. So definitely a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Oh, and actually, this is actually a big draw for Kisstafer. While we were talking about that, he picks up the Sun Fury. So if he ever gets down super low, boom, Molten Giant Sun Fury. You know, just what are you gonna do?
Do you really save it for the Molten? I love that he has it, or do you try to prevent yourself from getting low by Sun Furying your 5/5 and maybe your 2/2?
I think either way, it's a good move.
Right.
You know.
So basically, what we're saying is he's got all these options. He can do whatever he wants. But he's at 13, so I guess.
He's at. I think it's coming down.
Yeah.
I think it's coming down right now, and I think he sacks his 2/2 into the 3/1, so that.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no more Unleash.
Unless he wants,
one less Unleash target.
Unless he wants to hero power into it to get down to 0 to make the Molten cost nothing.
That is true. That is something he could do if he's banking. That I mean, I can tell in your tone of voice you can kind of joke, but it's something possible. You could do.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, like if he doesn't have an answer, then he's kind of screwed. So yeah.
He could also. Yeah, I mean. He could do it. Well, it's going to be 2 mana anyway, so you're only saving 1 mana by doing it with the hero. So I like this. Sack it. You've got 2 gigantic minions. He's going to struggle to get through this. Maybe an Unleash combo. Let's see.
An Alchemist will hunt him down.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, Alchemist has no answers. I mean, he can Unleash and Timberwolf, but so
unfortunately he has no buzzard, so the Unleash isn't going to be effective.
Exactly. He has no buzzard, so he can't draw any answers. You're basically all the answers he could possibly have are in his hand right now. He has no card draw.
So we have 15 damage right now, plus 4 on the with swipe, 15, 19 damage, 21 damage. Can't quite kill him. Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, Alchemist doesn't even have a secret, right? So he can't prevent.
Cenarius.
He can't prevent him from just going to the face. I think he's gonna heal right here. I think it's 100.
Yeah, I would heal. Why not? Right? Like make it even further out of reach.
Yeah, the game is over like in 2 turns. You're not gonna use these cards in hand. You're not gonna use the cards that you draw, right? And you already have damage in your hand. You have direct damage in that swipe. So really, there's no point in doing anything but healing. He might be thinking about some other. I don't even know what the other play is. Like, what? Can you tell me what other play there is?
Yeah, because you don't have lethal. I don't think there's another play. I mean, draw cards, but it doesn't make sense. I think you know what you might be thinking. Not seeing the hand, you might be thinking I'm not in lethal range. Draw the cards to prevent death. But I really think anytime you're playing against a rush deck, you have to heal. We've seen this so many. Remember when you were playing D2? I was watching and casting you, and I was like, "Dude, heal! And literally,
actually, you weren't casting me.
I wasn't casting you, right? This was King of the Hill. That's right. I was watching you casting later that night, or doing something later that night. But either way, I was like, "Heal!"
Yeah, and we were gonna do a DKMR roundup later.
That's what it was, and I was so happy that you actually healed. So in that case and in this, it only makes sense to heal, and I'm really glad you did, bud.
Well, to be fair, if I'd gone for the cards, I could have maybe gone the Druid of the Claw, but
right.
Yeah, but anyway, that's a different story. I think our viewers are a little bit confused right now.
No, they're not. They know what we're talking about. They keep up with everything we do in our lives.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it was a big match. I'm pretty sure thousands of people watched it. I wasn't there to look at the amount of viewers, but yeah, that was when I played in the King of the Hill versus Kit Kats and what was it? Impact.
Yeah, and if you guys are annoyed that we didn't recap the end of the game, that was a concede by Alchemixt. It was obviously over. 1-1. Well done. Let's see what Alchemixt brings out to deal with this taunt-heavy druid. And he did see the big minions, right? He saw the giant. So the cat is out of the bag.
Oh, this is going to be handlock. So we were going back and forth, trying to decide what Alchemist was going to play, and normally when he plays in these big matches, he likes to play Zulok, but he said recently that he likes to play handlock. He's been going with a lot of the handlock as well. He did play handlock a couple games back in the day when he was playing some King of the Hills. Like he played way back when he was playing against
any pro player has to get familiar with the big decks, right? So I mean, even if it's not his deck or something he's really great with, I think you have to assume he's very competent with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, Alchemist is. I mean, Alchemist can basically play any deck, except for Shaman. I was just thinking about this a couple of seconds ago. Like he can play like everything except Shaman for some reason, but he can play any deck really. He can play Control Warrior, he can play Handlock, he can play anything. But for some reason, he just really likes to play aggro decks.
So this is going to be an interesting match because we've got a giant druid versus a giant Handlock. I know that Handlock is going to be running probably. I'm not talking about what I've seen in the deck, just typically a Faceless Manipulator. So those giants of the Druid could be helpful to the Handlock. And on the same side, having giants out with Taunt will help the Druid deal with the giants of Alchemist. So this could be a really interesting matchup for the Druid that normally suffers a little bit in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious as to what's going to happen. I think... first of all, let me just say that Kisstafer doesn't know what kind of warlock this is yet.
Well, he will right now.
He will right now. He will right now. But it's certainly possible that you could just you don't have a 1-drop as a Zulok. It happens sometimes.
Sure.
So now Kisstafer definitely knows. And what I was going to say earlier is that historically, Handlock was very, very good against Druid, particularly the Watcher Druid.
Right.
But recently, with all these fast druids coming up, and they have Big Game Hunter, they have Black Knight,
the double
Druid
force combo.
Exactly, I think Druid is actually. I think a lot of pros agree with me with this too. Is that Druid is actually that kind of Druid is actually favored against Handlock, but this is such a weird Druid deck that Kisstafer is playing. So I'm kind of curious about how this is going to work out for him.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to take a quick look at this Druid deck. So give me a second.
Alright, while you're doing that, let me just... Alchemist goes with a Shadow Bolt and Mortal Coil. Interesting that he teched those 2 cards in there. A lot of times you don't have the ability to tech those cards in there because, there's only...
Alright, first off, guys, this deck is called Special Tactics, which is like a little bit of a shout out there to some of you StarCraft players, to a very special player known for his special tactics.
White Rot.
Yeah, White Rot. And this has got... the Wild Growths in it, Sunfury Protector, Healing Touch. It's got a Big Game Hunter, Earthen Ring Farseers. It's got 2 Keepers, 2 Senjins, 2 Sunwalkers, 2 Ancients of Lore, 2 Ancients of War, Cenarius, and 2 Molten Giants. So, in terms of the combo, it has no combo.
No combo.
No combo.
I think this is a response to Alchemist. He basically... So he started off with the Miracle Rogue, but he figured Alchemist might play 3 aggro decks. That's something he might actually do. He's done it before. Yeah. He did it in a Tavern Takeover. He played 3 aggro decks in a row. So if he does that, I have this deck to crush him. Is basically Kisstafer's thinking there.
And in fact, he did. That game versus the Hunter wasn't even close.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it looked close because he got down to 13, but then just boom, shut down. Yeah. Molten Giant can't do anything.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so we've got... I guess that was a Faceless on the Ancient of Lore, which is not really the best Faceless.
Yeah, exactly. But he had nothing else to do, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, it has to be a Faceless unless Alchemist is cheating somehow. So yeah, he went... So Kisstafer went with the Innervate, Ancient of Lore, very, very good play, very solid play, and then Alchemist is forced to basically, do what he did, which is Faceless, and... As of right now, Kisstafer has a little bit of tempo, but he's a little bit wary of getting Alchemixt too far low. And the one thing is that the fact that Alchemixt could not do anything makes it even more scary if you think about it, because he's showing that he has nothing in his hand that he can play. He can't play anything. What does that mean? He probably has cards like Molten Giant that he can't play yet. So it's really actually scary for Kisstafer that he wasn't able to do anything.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Turn 6, you can either Siphon Soul here, or you can bring out what is it? The
Sunwalker.
Sunwalker. Yeah, Sunwalker. Yes. I mean, I think the Sunwalker is fine. It's going to force a bit of a response out. What would you do in this position?
This is pretty tough.
Might make sense to heal Siphon Soul here, because if you do clear the Sunwalker, that's so much damage that you'll get to play out the Molten, but you could be dead really soon.
Yeah, I think what I would do though, I think I would take that chance, because you're slightly behind here, and I think what happens is if you put down the Sunwalker, first of all, if it gets Black Knighted, then it's okay, because now you're free to just play out your Molten Giants. I mean, obviously you're afraid of Big Game Hunter, but if he has the nuts, then what are you gonna do, right?
Right.
So you play the Sunwalker. If he Black Knights, you take like damage. You can play your Molten. If he struggles to deal with it, but still gets damage in your face, then you can play your Molten Giant, and on top of that, later you have your Siphon Soul to heal up again, and you won't be in danger of dying.
I do like your logic. Alchemix disagrees. Siphon Soul, but I really do like your logic. Looks like the Ancient of War will be coming on down as a big old 5/10.
Did he really Siphon Soul yet?
Yeah.
Are you a little bit ahead of me? I don't.
Right. Are you watching right here?
Yeah, I'm watching with you in the team viewer that we have. But
no, he's Siphon Sold, and he brought down a 5/10, a 10/5. Excuse me.
Interesting. All right. Well, you're gonna have to. All
right. Well, I'm not sure. Right now, I see a 3/3 and a 10/5 down, and not sure what.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah. Just tell me what's going on. I'll provide the commentary.
So I mean, bringing down you never bring down an Ancient of War as a 10/5. This is certainly a nod to something new, a completely different strategy that Kisstafer's entailing here or employing here.
Yeah, I think he's just taking a huge risk. He's saying like, I cannot kill you yet, and this is one way to kill. He's saying like, if you cannot deal with this, you are dead, and it's like a very interesting strategy he's employing here, because he could just die to Big Game Hunter.
Yeah, also
and that's only
this power overwhelming Shadow Flame is going to clear it entirely.
All right, so yeah, that's one of the dangers of doing that. I mean, there's really no way for him to clear it, other than that. Although I guess he could owl it.
Yeah, he could have owled it.
He could have owled it, power overwhelming, and Shadow Flame. So yeah, he could have cleared it either way. But he gets to save his L now.
And now we have another one coming down, and again he's going to bring it down as a 10/5. God, man, these are some special tactics. I have never seen this before. I think the idea here is, if the druid is capable of silencing and clearing whatever taunts are brought down, the effective damage will be game ending. So
yeah,
let's say you taunt up that Molten, right? Well, he's got a Keeper of the Grove, so I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. What did he use to clear earlier, by the way? I'm like somehow
He cleared with a power overwhelming into a
what did he power overwhelming?
A Sun Fury Protector. He power overwhelming a Sun Fury Protector, and then he Shadow Flamed it.
All right. Yeah, it's like super laggy. I think I'm just gonna switch over and watch their streams on their stream.
Man, I'm really sorry to hear that. You might just try restarting the link, the team viewer link.
How do I do that?
You just close it and restart it with that information I gave you.
All right, cool. All right, let's do that. All right. Yeah, because it's getting way far.
And remember to kill that audio.
That's right. It was getting way behind. I was looking at like basically 4 turns earlier. Anyway, sorry about that.
It's all right. So we got a 4/5 down, Sunwalker, and then a silence, bringing that 10/5 into a 5/5, which is actually a really smart heads-up play. Like, Alchemix is thinking, well, you're doing this for a reason. You have an ability to probably silence my Sunwalker. I'm going to still bring it down, but I'm going to prevent you from doing, game-ending damage potentially.
Yeah, it's a really like cute play by Kisstafer to go with those double 10-5s, but in the end, I think I disagree with it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally hear what you're saying and agree with you. I think it was a cute play. It was a special tactic, but there's a reason that standard plays are standard plays, is because they make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think he's gonna go with the silence here on that Sunwalker?
I mean, I wouldn't right now. I would prefer, like, maybe taking a slightly defensive position. Maybe, yeah, Druid of the Claw in taunt mode, I prefer. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's going to do. I like that. I also maybe do like this hero power to clear the Divine Shield. This is kind of back to the normal kit of parts of what you see here. Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. We're getting back to reality here.
These are your standard 5/5s.
Yeah.
Well, this is where the owl comes in huge, actually, because usually owl, you're really only looking to, activate your ancient watcher or some other stuff. Usually, you can't really use it against a druid unless he's running Cairn or something.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, the owl basically went from like a half-dead card to a very, very useful card, basically doing 5 damage to that ancient of war.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The question is, can he clear that? And it doesn't look like he can. So
He could siphon, or not siphon salt. He could soulfire it.
Yeah, but
so
then he leaves as a 4/6 on board. I mean, despite the kind of wonky plays Kisstafer made, he's in actually a really decent position.
Yeah, that's the thing. For if you're handlock, if you don't get your threats out early, and Druid's able to get their threats out, you don't have that many answers. It's like you have a couple, Shadow Flames to board clear, but then you have to like waste your power overwhelming to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, like you only have 2 siphon souls, your soul fires, like you're really reluctant to use those. So
yeah. Do you run the owl in here to the 4/6 just to start pinging off the damage?
I think you do.
I think you do too. I think there's like a swipe will get rid of it, removing its value. I think there's a lot of things that are going to remove its value entirely. I would have used the 2/1.
I think I would have done actually. I think I would have run in the owl and soulfired that, and not the 5.
Yeah,
or whatever it was.
I think that's a really nice play.
Because I suppose he could have Wrath, but if he doesn't have Wrath, then the 4+4.
Yeah.
It's like 4 plus. Yeah, 4+3 is the same as 4+4. Or 4+5 is the same as 4+4. So
either way, not using the owl at all, I think, was just a waste of 2 damage.
Yeah, but maybe he was stream sniping and saw that he didn't have a swipe, but. Joke's on you, he top decked it.
I love it. The stream swipe, the stream snipe meta is so funny.
I love that when it happens, when someone's stream sniping someone, and then they top deck it, and then they just get so screwed. That's like my favorite.
Yeah. Alright, so pretty solid clear, but there's still an 8/4 to deal with, which is... yeah, it looks like... Okay, he's probably going to heal that up, right? Or is he going to heal himself? What do you think? I think you got to heal the 8/4.
Yeah, you definitely heal the 8/4 because you're essentially healing yourself when you do that,
Yeah, so you heal that 8/4, you get rid of the 4/2, and then you bring down the Molten, right? No reason not to.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So this is a really scary board to deal with, but all that Kisstafer has to do is kill this guy. He's got to just kill Alchemixt, and it doesn't look like he can just yet, but... Healing Touch not so helpful. Keeper of the Grove is...
Healing Touch could eventually be helpful if he... If he could get that Molten Giant out, get a huge threat, and then prevent himself from dying. So
I don't really like Cenarius in this position because the 2/2 taunts aren't going to be that helpful. They can both be cleared by the Drake and the Earthen Ring. I guess I feel like it's Keeper here. I don't know, like Keeper to get rid of the 8/3. Is that the best option here? I don't think you hero power into the 8/3. Oh god, is he going to hero power into the 8/3 and then heal up? Okay, I guess that's not the worst thing in the world.
I don't know if he's going to heal up. I don't think he's going to heal up actually. Wait, how close is he to dead if he doesn't heal up?
He's at 21 health, so he's not that close.
So as long as he kills that, there's only going to be, 15 damage on the board, which means he dies to Leroy, but Alchemist doesn't have that many cards.
Yeah, but you can't... I mean...
Alright.
you've got to play the healing touch if you've got the mana, right? There's like Leroy combos.
Yeah, I think I agree with him playing greedy here because
But
you
you
need
don't-
that Molten Giant. You
But
really
why
need
don't
that.
you play the healing touch? You've got the mana.
I think you want to play the Molten Giant and then heal up, because if you play the Molten Giant and
Oh,
Well, he's
I disagree. I hear you. I see it, but I totally disagree. This deck runs Leroy. This deck runs, yeah, no. There's also another Soulfire in there and some additional damage. Well, that's a GG. Leroy, as we all saw, just came down, and Alchemixt takes game 2 on that note.
I think what he was thinking is that he only had 2 cards, and he basically had a top deck that Leroy. So he was thinking, Soulfire by itself doesn't do it. Power Leveling by itself doesn't do it. He needs Leroy, or he needs a combination of 2 cards, both of which were somewhat unlikely, and Alchemist able to top deck the win right there.
Yeah, so we've got a warrior here. Okay, so we've got looks mid-rangey with the Argent Commander in there, Arcanite Reaper for sure, and a Harvest Golem. So is this the DKMR standard mid-range warrior?
Yeah, this is the deck that Kisstafer came up with, the one that I played with in the King of the Hill that one time. I'm not sure what cards he's teched in or out. I had a Big Game Hunter teched in. If he has Big Game Hunter teched in like I had, then it's a very, very good situation for him. Mm-hmm. If not, then he's in a bit of trouble.
Big Game Hunter?
Yes.
Good question. The game started, 8-minute delay. I think it's fair to discuss the deck.
Yeah.
No BGH.
No BGH. That's a bit unfortunate. So I assume he's running 2 Acolyte of Pains then.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's basically a nod toward the fact that Alchemist was probably going to be running many aggro decks, so that's why he decided to go against the Big Game Hunter. But
double Harvest Golem coming down. That's a nice couple turns.
Yep, it's really nice for him. Unfortunately, Alchemist has that Twilight Drake. Well, he does have the Execute, so there is that.
Task Execute or Whirlwind Execute? Probably Task in this case, right?
Yeah, I don't think you want to hurt your own guys. Well, you know what?
Maybe you do, because you don't want to hurt them later when they die. Because when they die,
the armor is helpful.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
if you put the Taskmaster on the board, like you're actually committing. It makes it easier for him to clear, or not easier for him to clear your board, but he clears more stuff when he clears your board. And Hellfire does 3. There's nothing that in the handlock that does 2.
That does 2. I think Whirlwind. I think Whirlwind is the play here.
Yeah, I mean either way, it's not.
Oh! Look at this. He's thinking Defender of Argus.
He's just gonna ignore it, I suppose.
We didn't think about that. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Well, the thing is, I don't understand. He has to kill this sometime, right? I don't understand. Oh, you know what he's gonna do? He's going to wait. No, he can't. He can't.
Oh no, Shadow Flame.
He can't Arcanite Reaper next turn.
No, he cannot Arcanite Reaper next turn.
Because that's a 4/9, right?
Yeah, it's a 4/9.
So yeah, I don't know if I.
Oh well, he can use both minions to do it actually. Yeah, he can use both of his leftover minions.
Okay, so Alchemist deciding that he's ahead, so he's gonna just drop another Drake down.
I think that's a really solid play. I mean, Kisstafer decides to ignore a Drake, so bring down another Drake. That's like it's that the theory when you're looking at those giants, when a big giant comes down and your opponent doesn't deal with it. Not only does that mean they can't deal with it, but it means it's going to be equally hard for them to deal with another one. So why not just compound the damage or the pain?
They'll at least know he can actually deal with both. But
yeah. Well, actually, how is he going to deal with the second one? Did he draw a second Execute? Oh yes, he did.
Yes, he did. So I think I would just deal with these. Because now you're putting the onus on the Alchemist, and you're basically and once you start putting more damage on him, you're forcing him to make a gamble now that obviously you can allow him to play Molten Giants, but he's gonna be really reluctant to play Mountain Giants because he might just die, Yeah. So I think you just get rid of these because it gives him so much power to be able to clear your board if you leave them on the table, and I think saving them for the Giants is maybe the wrong play here, but it looks like he might be agreeing with me. He's throwing that task. Yeah, he's hovering over that taskmaster.
Oh, he's got
He
to
must.
decide, man.
He must choose.
Yeah. Okay, one's going down.
Yeah, I think both are going down here.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine.
I think maybe not.
Nope, one down, and he's gonna just go face.
Um,
He's really banking on Alchemixt not having a Molten Giant, which is not the case.
to be no, he didn't attack with a second Harvest Golem, so he's kind of protecting himself a little bit.
Oh, he didn't?
Pretty sure he didn't. So yeah, that leaves Alchemix a little bit in a tough situation. He could do the really greedy play of he kills the Harvest Golem, he plays the Molten Giant, and then he heals himself, which would be really interesting. And it would actually this just shows like the skill of Alchemist at the moment, because he's saying he's not afraid of dying. He's not afraid of looking stupid on stream. He's not afraid of like, oh, he had lethal, obviously. Why are you doing that play? He's like, no, it's like gives me the best chance of winning if I get a giant down, and if he can't deal with it, I just win the game. Rather than doing the safe play, which is hitting with the Twilight Drake and Shadow Flaming. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I agree with this play. It's really strong, and it's unlikely he's going to die this next turn.
7 mana, 6 mana. Yeah, that's a hard kill. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult.
So what he can do is the fact that he saved that execute helps him a bit. And unbeknownst to Alchemix, he has an extra execute.
Yeah, it does seem like he doesn't, right? It did kind of feel like he didn't have an extra execute the way he played it.
Yeah. Yeah, he basically just baited that out,
Yeah.
He's saying like, oh, I don't have any answers, so go ahead and play your big stuff because I can't kill it. So that's kind of nice. He baited that out.
Yeah.
And,
what he really needs is a shield slam. That would be so sick.
Yeah, shield slam would be very helpful in this instance. I wonder if Kisstafer decides to just keep going to her face and just saying like, okay, you got your one Molten Giant. I don't think you have another one. And just going for that method.
That would be consistent with his play thus far. And yeah, I can't disagree with it at this point. Considering he's got the Arcanite Reaper, he's going to clear the 4/5. He's got 33 effective health, 35 effective health now. It's going to be pretty hard to kill a 35 health hero before they kill you with 14 health. I think that's got to be the strength of the mid-range warrior, right? Is not only do you have armor, but you're not waiting around for Alexstrasza. You're just going to keep hitting.
Oh, that is a huge draw.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. A 3-cost mountain. Was it 3 or 4? I think it was 4, huh? So yeah, he has 8 mana. So taps,
really
draws
needs a shield block. Really needs a shield block here. I might even Drake to pray to get that shield block. But maybe not. Maybe that's too risky.
I mean shield slam.
Oh, shield slam, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Maybe I'd shield block, because you're going to have to shield block anyway to get the shield slam, and if you don't draw it, you charge in anyway.
That is true. You know what he could do is he could he has 8 mana, right? Is that right?
8 mana, yeah.
So the thing is, he cannot play the Azure Drake and then the Corcoran Elite, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
He has no fallback plan if he plays this Azure Drake and misses. So I think he's just gonna go with the Corcoran plus Armor Smith and then kill that and armor up.
Yeah. And then next turn shield block just to get that all that armor that he lost, and then potentially hopefully use it to armor up in the future to do a shield slam. I think that's a pretty good play. Yeah. So wait, two mountain giants are gone, right? Or is that my imagination?
1 Mountain Giant is gone. 2 Twilight Drakes are gone, and one.
That's right. It was two Twilight Drakes in the early game. I remember there were 2 fatties. That's right. So 1 Mountain, 1 Molten, 2 Twilights. Okay. Oh, there's the other Molten. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That is a huge draw. That is ridiculous. So I was gonna say before when you were talking about how it's difficult to kill Kisstafer, This is like the counterpoint to that, right? That he could just draw his giants and like, well, they do 8 damage a turn, so that's pretty crazy. And Alchemixt looking to have a huge turn right here, getting that Molten Giant, getting he's gonna Shadow Bolt that. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So he was thinking about Earthen Ring. I think I would just taunt. How much health is he at right now?
13.
Oh, he's at
now.
13.
He was
Okay,
at
so
10, yeah.
okay, so he cannot die. That's actually pretty smart. He cannot die right now, so might as well save your taunts. You can put a taunt out later, especially if this gets brawled for some reason. You still have the taunts out, or you still have the ability to taunt later.
Yeah. Azure Drake is nice. Draws into a Acolyte of Pain. Oh, there's that last giant. Oh my god. I don't know if you play it here with the Brawl potential. I guess you do. Wow. Well, Brawl would be an amazing card. Do not know that he's running it, though.
I think he's deduced that Alchemist does not have Brawl.
Yeah.
By the last turn.
Oh yeah,
it is still a bit.
Doesn't have it. Yeah.
It is a little bit dangerous though, because if he does have Brawl, then, or if he top decks it, he's basically, he just loses the game, and there's really no reason to be this greedy, I think, because you could just win the game regardless. I mean, he can't deal with a giant, he can't deal with a giant plus, 2 other minions, so I think he just win the game anyway.
Yeah.
There's also the fact that Alchemist has probably been studying, and this deck, I don't think he has Brawl in the deck, right?
He does not. This deck does not have Brawl.
Yeah, so he's correctly deduced that there's not gonna be any Brawl in here, and
that's gonna be game. Without a Brawl, that's GG. I mean, there's nothing that can be done to deal with a board like this.
Exactly, there's nothing. And yep.
And he chooses death. Kisstafer goes down 1-3. GG to Alchemixt, taking out DKMR's Kisstafer. Well played.
Very well played. Nice mind games in the beginning there. He's like, well, if you think I'm going to be playing aggro, I'll just play aggro. Screw it. So going with that strategy there, Alchemist takes it down 3-1. Sorry, go ahead.
No, we're going to just talk for just a minute about some of our sponsors before we get into the next match. There's going to be a few minutes in between the matches.
And, formerly the top 2 players on DKMR, so this is going to be one hell of a match. And
we're about to get started on that.
We are. Okay. All right.
Real talk. Did you see this Shaman deck? No shit around. Did you see this Shaman deck that Strikepro played?
I saw it. The double fork gliding with the Ancient Mage.
What did you think? You don't have to lie to me. You can be honest with me.
I didn't even know. It was just so bizarre. I couldn't even. It just blew my mind.
Okay, think about this. Think about playing a Miracle Rogue, and this motherfucker puts down a Miracle Rogue with like a Cold Blood or whatever. Maybe he's got a SI agent on the board. He conceals them. You got a couple minions on the board, but that's all you got, right? Ancient Mage, boom, 2 spell power totems, Fork Lightning, 4 damage. Their board dies. GG, game over.
I suppose that's really, really good.
What do you do? What do you do to that? Okay.
All right, let's get into this game. Okay. Is that Alchemist with a Control Warrior?
I don't know. Let's see. It looks like yes. Let me get
Alchemist loves Control Warrior, and true to Alchemist style, I think every single card in this is going to be golden. We're going to be looking for that golden coin to see if every single card in this deck is golden. Alchemist loves his golden cards.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We've got a rogue of, it looks like the Miracle sort, perhaps, because he's got some healing in there, versus Alchemist playing the Control Warrior. Armor Smith, Corcoran Elite, Acolyte of Pain, Gorehow. This is not a mid-range. As you have probably just noted, this is the much more traditional Control Warrior.
Alright, moment of truth. Golden coin. wait. It's golden. Every single card in Alchemist's deck is golden.
Golden coin, ladies and gentlemen.
Alright.
And we've got a golden hero. That warrior is a badass.
Yeah, golden hero, golden coin, golden everything.
Okay, let's talk about this deck and let's talk about this game. So we've got a Miracle Rogue versus a Control Warrior. What do you think of the matchup in a nutshell?
So historically, Miracle Rogue struggled because it didn't have enough damage to kill Warrior. When I say historically, this is like 4 months ago, right?
Yeah.
And but then Miracle Rogue started adding in all these cards like Zurdrake, like just standard minions, and then Miracle Rogue became favored, and because they had all this damage and they were too fast, and Warrior couldn't deal with it. But more recently, Rogue has Warrior has decided that if they just keep armoring up, if they decide to stick to a plan of I kill all your minions, and as long as you don't get some conceal Gadsden nonsense off and get a bunch of damage in while I can't, deal with it, then you don't have enough damage to kill me. Like, you still, even with all your minions, you still don't have enough damage to kill me. So Warrior's kind of had kind of come back a little bit, and even the odds in the matchup. And
now, didn't the Rogue add in the Sinister Strikes and sort of modify their deck to sort of add in more damage?
Yeah, I'm not sure which decks the Sinister Strike was in mind for. It could have been
not necessarily for the Warrior per se, but just as a effective response.
Yeah, it's somewhat helpful, but I think a lot of the time it might be better to have the minion on the board,
right? So
I can get a couple attacks in, and the more minions you have, the less likely he has to deal with it, or less likely he'll be able to deal with it.
Right.
But this matchup is somewhat even. Like, if you're a warrior, if you're a lesser experienced warrior player, you might not know how to deal with a rogue. But if you're a very, very good warrior player and you know the ins and outs of the Miracle Rogue deck, then this matchup becomes very, very even.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Armor Smith goes down. We've got a little bit of armor for the warrior here, and because of the weapon, oops, lost internet here. D2, are you there? Okay, you're there. So I just had a little internet issue. Looks like we're good. Whoa. Whoa, my internet just went kaplooey. Sorry guys. Give me a... Okay, I think we're back.
Hello?
Yep, sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. The stream went wonky for a second there. Okay, yes, I think we're back. I think everyone can hear. Sorry about that.
Alright, so... Unfortunately, I was talking to myself for a little while, but so let me just recap what happened. So we had a Acolyte of Pain plus a coin and a cool Taskmaster from Alchemix's side, and that was countered by a Gadsden into Backstab into Preparation Eviscerate on the Acolyte, and so that's where we are now. It looks like Alchemix has come back with what was that? A Slam into Execute, if I see that correctly.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Alright, and he gets to armor up as well, so that's a good response. And looks like Brad, I'm looking at your screen, and one of the streams is ahead of the other, but
yeah.
So we have Brad coming back with a Violet Teacher and the Blood Mage. The reason why he threw out the Gadsden so cavalierly earlier is because he knew he had another one, but in this instance he has no spells to really use, so he's just going to go with that Violet Teacher, which Alchemix is forced to throw that. He's forced to basically use 2 cards to deal with essentially 1 card.
Yeah, but he also did use the Whirlwind, which cleared out the other minion, so that's not bad.
Yeah. Well, what I meant to say is that since the Blood Mage recycles itself, so essentially, as far as cards that are in hand, he uses 2 cards to get rid of essentially 1 card because it's replaced itself. Yeah, so Brad's kind of reluctant to play this SI7 agent because it's just going to die to the weapon of Alchemix, but he kind of feels like just passing and doing nothing is a little bit of a waste as well, so he's going to go for it. Get that at 5 damage in. 5 total damage. Unfortunately, Alchemix has double shield block. That is actually huge because it'll be very, very difficult for Brad to actually get that much damage off and be able to kill him. So, yeah, it's looking like unless Brad can get a huge, cycle off with his Gadsden, which he cannot right now, Brad's in a bit of trouble because Alchemix's health is just way too high.
Okay, yeah, I think we had a little bit of a stream problem here. Sorry, guys. If you were watching and you did lose us, apologies for that. Looked like we hopefully have that stream back up. Sorry if you did miss a little bit of that game.
How long did they miss? I'm sorry, I just
It
was.
might have been anywhere between like 3 turns and 6 turns. It's hard to say. So we are on. Yeah.
All right. So. All right. So I guess I'll just repeat what I said earlier. Essentially, we had Okay, so so we had the Gadsden come down. It got killed, and then Brad came back with a Violet teacher that got killed, and then he came back with an SS7 agent that just got killed, and then Alchemixt put up a lot of armor. And I commented that it's going to be really hard for Brad to kill him because he has double shield block. He has a second shield block in hand. Looks like Brad's going to go for the Leroy Shadow Step Blade Flurry play. So because he needs to just do something right now, you know. And oh, he's not going to Blade Flurry. That is surprising to me. I think I would have Blade Flurried and
maybe you take the 2 damage and then you Blade Flurry next turn, knowing that it's it's gonna happen anyway.
You know what I think it might have been is that he kind of wants a target for his Gadgetzin, and he wants to also cycle that Blade Flurry. So actually, I kind of like that play.
I think that's nice. I think that's really nice.
And now Leroy is 2 damage or 2 mana, so he gets to use that whenever he wants. Oh, if he had 1 more mana, he could have played a pretty big Van Cleave here, but it would have gone. Actually, it would have gone Big Game Hunter, so maybe that wouldn't have been the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is Alchemixt down to now?
Alchemixt has 20.
20. So he's still pretty high on health. Brad's already used 1, like basically a charge.
Yeah.
Of his Leroy, so he can only do 12 burst damage with Leroy only.
Yeah. Shield block, armor up, probably shield slam would be my guess. Yep.
He wants to get as much armor as possible because he could theoretically just win the game if Brad just runs out of ways to kill him.
Why is he not attacking with the weapon? He's got 2 charges of it.
If in the worst case scenario he has to kill something, it's better to use his weapon in that instance than to just take a bunch of damage over the course of the game. And he thinks that, like, if he just survives, he can win. And on the other hand, he's not going to kill him in the next 2 turns anyway. So if he gets really close to killing him, he'll start swinging. But right now, he sees no need to.
Okay, fair enough. Again, sorry guys that we lost you there for a second. Not sure what happened. Unfortunately, lost you guys, but hopefully you're all back and good to go. And early game, you want to just recap what happened in the early game that sort of a few of the people on the stream might have missed for them?
Oh geez. So basically we had we had Alchemixt with the Armor Smith, Acolyte, Cool Taskmaster, that kind of opening, and then we had double Gadgetzin for Brad. Unfortunately, he had to deal with the whatchamacallit, the Armor Smith from Alchemix's point of view, and basically we had a bunch of back and forth, and Alchemix was able to deal with both Gadgetzins from Brad's point of view, which kind of screwed him up. And
yeah, and the first Gadgetzin came out a little cavalierly because he had a second Gadgetzin, but then eventually both were dealt with. Yeah,
so now we're in this position where Brad has a lot of work to do in order to kill Alchemixt.
Yeah.
And but he does draw that Shadow Step, so that's a lot of damage right there.
I like the sound there. Shadow or the Violet Teacher getting the 1/1. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, and I want to say I really, really disagree with Alchemix playing that Sylvanas in that instance. I think he's getting really, really greedy with that Brawl. And I think he could just gotten a Brawl there, and worst case scenario, he gets rid of 6 damage on the board, even if the Van Cleef lives, because he would get rid of a Violet Teacher, which is a really dangerous card, first of all, and also the Farseer. But maybe he was waiting for this. Maybe he was waiting for a bunch of 1/1s to show up so he could get a Brawl.
Oh no! Well, the Big Game Hunter is going to come down. Alright, not as bad as I thought, even though the Brawl didn't work out in his favor. Wait, oh, that's right. It's a 6-6. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
an
6-6.
8-8 or 9-9. Wow. So
Did Brad just win the game?
I think he did. 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that's a major misplay.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that was a major misplay on Alchemix's part.
I can't disagree, not just because of the result, but even as you were saying it earlier. How much damage was that, GG, by the way? How much damage was that one turn when he didn't brawl? Did he lose?
Well, he basically hit the 3-3 with his face, so
Yep.
there was that, and then so he took 9 damage essentially.
9. That's game, definitely. That's absolutely game ending.
Yeah, he like Alchemix did not have enough damage to win. All he had to do was just brawl, and then just take out that Van Cleef eventually. So yeah, it's pretty much a mistake. I would say getting a little bit greedy, and I mean he pretty much knew that sap was an option. So yeah.
Okay, Rogue versus Hunter, and you can see here flare tracking and the bow, and it looks like he's contemplating. He's keeping the bow and the tracking, and he gets rid of flare. Okay. Gets the Arcane Golem. Would you like Arcane Golem early? I'm not really too much of a fan of it early.
Yeah, it's not very good early. And
Ooh,
I want to
buzzard Hunter's Mark. Sorry, we have another question here. You have to keep one buzzard, right? Else you have no buzzards in the game, right?
Yeah,
You're screwed.
You 100% keep the buzzard or grab the buzzard. I don't even know that wasn't even a consideration. But he wants to take everything into account, make sure he's making the right play. But yeah, there's no way you take the Hunter's Mark over the buzzard in that situation.
What if there was just one buzzard, a Hunter's Mark, and some other random crap card? Do you then always take the buzzard? Is it because there were two and you would never have one more? You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, I think you would still take the buzzard because you have the Unleash the Hounds in hand. Okay. And like worst case scenario, worst case scenario, you're cycling for one, right? Right. And it's still something. You're still cycling for something. Whereas a lot of times if you play Unleash the Hounds, come like a completely dead card in hand because you can't use it. But if you can just use buzzard with it, it can help you draw into even more damage in your deck.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. You definitely need the buzzard. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and Brad looking like he's thinking about playing a vanilla SI7 agent.
Yeah. What do you think about these Chinese players that were playing 2 conceals? What are your thoughts on that?
It's greedy, but if it works, it works. You know. Or sorry, I should say when it works, it's really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're basically when you go into games, either you blow them out or you get blown out with that strategy. Mm-hmm. So because the conceal can be so ridiculous. But
misdirection. This is gonna be a nice little bit of damage.
But he still keeps a 3-3 on board, or 3-2 on board now, I should say.
Oh, so, right. I'm sorry. I thought it was the SI agent that was being misdirected. That I wasn't fully paying attention. That was actually really good heads up play right there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, now he has 3 more damage on his bow, so that's 6 damage total. And again, Brad's in a little bit of trouble with his Miracle Rogue deck, but he's definitely not in near the same situation as Kisstafer was.
Yeah. He's got a Gadgetzan, he's got a Van Cleef, he's got some small damages deals like a backstab. He's got Azure Drake, he's got the coin. I mean, he can deal with a lot of what comes out here.
I think you just go Gadgetzan prep conceal here, right? I don't see any other
coin Gadgetzan prep conceal.
Yeah, exactly. But he needs to attack first. Oh, he gets it off. Looks like he gets it off.
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're like one of your screens a little bit higher than the other.
It's alright. Sorry. We're gonna talk about the screen that we're all watching, which is Gadgetzan prep conceal.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, I think what he was considering is, do I get this Gadgetzan conceal out, or do I get a huge Van Cleef off? And I think this is a more solid play because it's so much harder to counter.
Yeah. Flare.
Yeah.
All minions lose stealth. Do it. Do it.
Why is he? Oh, is he gonna kill it? How is he gonna kill it though?
Unleash.
Just unleash. Just Bear
then-
Unleashed. Okay.
I was gonna say use the weapon too, but I like
Yeah,
that
he
even
is.
better.
Oh, he had Hunter's Mark as well. Okay.
Yeah, but I was gonna say just use the weapon on the minion if you have to. I think that's a really good play.
Wow, that is a ridiculous play, actually. Oh my goodness. I think here you just go. Oh, you know what he could do is he could go backstab, shiv, and then Van Cleef. But I think you shiv the face first if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Or not.
Looks like he wants to shiv the minion. Save the
I don't-
backstab.
You're only shivving here just to get the
Yeah,
just to
the
get
card.
the or no, not the card, the Van Cleef, because you have so many cards right now. You have so many high impact minions right now that I think that. Oh, you know what? What he might do is he might shadow step that and then use Van Cleef afterward.
Okay. I like it. Not bad. Let's see what he runs here. Looks like he's going to shiv.
All right, so he elects against the shadow step. It looks like.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so
here's your
looks
shiv.
like he's gonna go. Yeah, he's gonna go with my play, which is the shift face, backstab, and then Van Cleef.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean he just needs to get damage, like as fast as possible, and this is the best way to get damage as fast as possible. And from Alchemix's side, I think we're gonna see a clear plus freezing trap, but then he might use that to clear. Actually, he might use his.
Yeah, I mean you can use the weapon. You can also use the arcane golem. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think the weapon isn't as good in the long term. Arcane Golem's going to give him more mana, but you got to play that freezing trap and get out the Arcane Golem here. I think that's the better play. Oh, looks like he's going to not. So he's going to use the weapon, right? Otherwise he's screwed. Whoa. Okay, so that's interesting.
What do you think about using the Arcane Golem to clear that 3/2 and then throwing down the freezing trap and basically?
That's what I was saying. Oh no, that's what I was
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, I think that's what he should have done for sure.
Yeah, so then you get more attack on your weapon, and you give him mana, but
He loses
it's a
his
race
Van
now.
Cleef, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that
And-
absolutely was the play.
Interesting that Brad decides to throw a guy on the board first here before setting up the trap. He might not set up the trap. I don't think he sets up the trap.
He doesn't set
Oh,
up the trap.
doesn't have the trap. Okay, I think it's a bit smart because once he sets up the trap, Alchemist can start swinging away, and he's really low on health. Like setting up the trap could just like make him die.
I see what you're saying. He wants to effectively, yeah, but with the 2 hero power, 2 damage hero power, I don't know, man. I don't know. 6. Yeah, he's at 23 health. Yeah, you might be right. This is like razor thin, I think, despite the healths being pretty different.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I think, yeah, it's really tough to throw the Arcane Golem because that one extra mana could mean your death,
Yeah.
So, very, very interesting right here. He decides to throw on the buzzer, just be like, okay, there's an extra damage, you need to deal with that, and you can't attack it with your...
But why not the Abusive Sergeant to get a card draw? I guess he wants that for the Arcane Golem.
You can't draw a card with the Abusive Sergeant. It's not a beast.
Or it's not a beast. There you go.
There you go.
That makes some sense.
Oh my god, he needs Leroy so badly. He needs Leroy. Leroy's 18 damage out of nowhere.
Ah.
Oh my goodness, he's gonna die. He's almost dead. Is he dead? Wait. Okay, so he has Alchemist is 8 mana, correct? So he can go double
Arcane Golem.
That's game, right?
Yeah,
Double
I think
arcane
so.
plus. Oh my goodness. Alright, so
Plus Abusive.
yeah, Brad tried.
Oh, no,
He tried
no.
to get the Leroy. He was damned either way. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's unfortunately too much damage from Alchemist.
But you know what? Brad did pull out the initial victory with the Rogue, so he's not incredibly far behind. He did get a victory out of that Rogue.
Exactly. That's something we didn't talk about, but it's so huge because had he lost that first game, he has to counter the Warrior, which is probably going to be a deck that just dies to Hunter, and then he's just respawning every single time. Whereas now, Brad gets to respawn and then essentially get ahead here. And with Warrior, he's now picked Warrior against Hunter. It's almost like a free win here. It's like an 80-20 advantage with Warrior versus Hunter.
Spoiler alert. Warrior coming down. All right. Brad's warrior. What can we expect? Let us see.
Yeah, even with the screen being a little bit ahead, I think everyone could have predicted that. If he has warrior in his deck list, he's going to play warrior.
Yeah, this is a similar kind of warrior to what we've been talking about previously.
We do have a very good start for Alchemixt, though, going with that.
Wow! Oh my God! Double Leper Gnome tracking abusive Wolf Rider. Like, maybe get rid of the Wolf Rider, maybe not. It's kind of on curve at this point. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'll get into the game screen, guys.
Alright. Yeah, at least Brad has somewhat of an answer to at least one of them. If he had no answer in his hand, it might just be game already, despite, how this matchup usually plays out.
Actually, it's okay, because you can also armor up and use your shield slam just to kill one of these little guys. Just to sort of stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Where's your whirlwind when you need it?
Yeah, so Alchemix is saying, I like the way Alchemix plays this. He's saying that, like, I'm behind, I need to take a gamble. I need to gamble that you do not have Whirlwind.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Whirlwind, this is really, really, really good. If you do have Whirlwind, then I was gonna lose this matchup anyway. There's like, if he does not do this, he does not win.
Yeah.
Right? If he does this and he has Whirlwind, he does not win. But if he does this and he doesn't have Whirlwind, then he has a chance. So he's basically taking a gamble here, and it might pay off.
Yeah. Is there any silence in this warrior deck? There isn't, right?
No, I don't. Yeah, in light of what just happened, I think that was actually a mistake, killing the abusive sergeant instead of the leper gnome, because now if you shield slam that leper gnome, you lose your armor again, and I
think you should have gotten rid of that leper gnome.
He does not like killing that leper gnome.
No, he's got a plan, and it doesn't involve getting rid of that leper gnome. Okay, Stone Tusk, Eagle Horn, Arcane's got to be the Eagle Horn, right? Okay.
Yeah, wow. The Eagle Horn is 6 damage. The other ones aren't quite as much.
Alchemist is in a great position here. This is such a fast start.
Yeah, that tracking is actually huge, because he could just track to the biggest damage dealing thing in his deck.
Again, it's basically
Exactly.
So now the hunter has slowed down. He's only got 2 cards left. He'll draw into a third. And the warrior's got quite a few cards, except most of them are not playable right now. So let's see. Flare. That's the perfect card, right? Draw another card.
I'm surprised he immediately went to Flare. I think I would have just gone tracking first.
Another Hunter's Mark. That's not a great card.
That is a terrible, terrible draw.
Okay, Kill Command or Buzzard? Probably Buzzard at this point, because you're running...
Arcane Golem.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Because
Kill
Buzzard...
Command,
yeah,
Kill Command at the moment is 3 damage. Arcane Golem is 4.
And Starving you can't play necessarily because you don't have anything to play it out. Ugh.
Yeah, this is a very, very, very tough decision for him.
Maybe Arcane. Actually, Arcane's tricky, though, because you know the warrior's full of big stuff, and you're going to let him ramp into it by helping him. I think Starving.
Yeah, Starving. I think, I think it's between Starving and Kill Command now that I think about it more.
Yeah.
Because you could draw into a beast to use for Kill Command.
Yeah.
And same thing with Starving Buzzard. You could draw into a beast to help cycle.
Yeah.
So I think it's between one of those two. And this is a very, very tough decision. I don't even know what's correct here. Looking at his health, he's at 12. With the hero power and his weapon, that's 5. He gets down to 7. Kill Command gets
he goes with my pick. I'm just kidding.
I didn't even know.
Just in case you guys missed it earlier, someone previously went with D2's pick, and I didn't like that very much.
Okay. Alright. So, Brad deciding not to play any minions.
Unleash! Look at this! Look at this!
Oh my god.
And a Hunter's Mark. This is literally the perfect play.
Oh my goodness. I can't
And a Kill Command!
And you got a Kill Command! What?
Oh my god. Wow. Okay, so now the big minions can come out, though, for Brad. So he has a chance to stop this, but will he be able to do it in time?
Is he dead?
10 damage.
5.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
Oh, wait, hold on. So he has 3 from the weapon. 2 plus 0.
I think he's dead. I think he's dead. Yeah.
I don't think he's dead this turn.
Yeah,
no,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, he's dead.
Oh my god.
Alchemixt takes a game number 3, and with that amazing keep on the buzzard into the unleash, GG takes it. Well
Wow.
played.
Oh my god. That's like the only way that Hunter can possibly beat Warrior is that you just get that amazing start and you just can't armor up enough. Like
That's
you just
incredible. That is like, what do you play now that your Warrior lost?
Druid.
Yeah.
Your other deck that can
No,
deal with
I
that.
mean absolutely, but what I mean is like, oh my god, that was so incredibly painful.
Yeah, exactly. So basically what happened here is like basically obviously what happens is like the score is reversed, but you can think of it like, you know, if Alchemix had won the first game with his warrior, then this
Right.
would be like the situation that we'd be in, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with Brad kind of trying to counter.
Okay, he's keeping the leper. Looks like he's gonna keep the wolf rider, huh? I wouldn't keep it right out of, yeah. So I like that. Get rid of the wolf rider, and now you got the leper. You got unleashed. Oh my god! Look at this starting hand. Maybe you want like a weapon too or something, but this is a great starting hand.
Yeah, Alchemix saying that Leper Gnome every single time, but we have Innervate Harvest Golem coming out from Brad, and that's pretty huge.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's going to trade at least 2 for 1, maybe 3 for 1, so that's nice. The Leper Gnome's still fine. Nothing wrong with that.
I think if you're a Brad here, I think you just go Wrath. Although, maybe not. Maybe you need Wrath for something else.
Yeah, for you save the 3 damage. I mean, you might hero power here and save your minion. That's fine, right?
Yeah, so essentially by hero powering here, he saves himself 2 damage.
Yeah.
And the Harvest Golem's still annoying to deal with, so it's fine. And I think, you know what, I think instead of doing 3 damage onto something, I think he wants to do like a double 1 damage. You know, like he uses his hero power to kill one thing, and uses his Wrath to kill another thing. Because
Yeah,
if you don't have Swipe,
potentially.
you might be in trouble.
Especially with a double abusive, Stone Tusk, Timberwolf, Unleashed. Look at that. Look at all those cards. Jeez.
Yeah, all 1 health. He has 5 things in his hand that make 1 health minions.
Swipe, where are you? Where are you, Swipe? Arcane Golem. Okay, there we go. Something with not 1 health. Okay, so you're going to charge, you're going to abusive. You're going to double abusive. You're going to go face for 5.
The 5/1 boar.
Yeah.
It's charging Magma Razor.
Yep. And you might be right about this. This might be that turn 4 hero power, Wrath, and then use your Golem. I think that's exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah, that's that's why you save it, because you know all these 1 damage minions are coming to come out, and if you can help it, if you can just deal with their stuff early on without having to use something that clears, you know, it's kind of like the same thought process of saving your Shiv as a Miracle Rogue versus whatchamacallit, Zulok, because if they have Divine Shield, then suddenly you can use your Hero Power plus Shiv, whereas if you just use your Shiv too early on to kill, like, for instance, you know, Young Priestess, then you don't have the option available anymore. So basically look into the future and say like, okay, when am I going to need this? I do not have to use this now, so I'm just gonna save it.
Good. I like that analysis. That's really insightful. Okay, so he just hero powers and passes. Why don't you play a freezing trap? Well, because you don't want the Golem to go back. I
Yeah, that's one of the worst things you can have frozen back. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, unfortunately,
You
nothing
could
to do.
you could turn you could Arcane Golem with the coin.
Yeah, but then you give him more mana, and that's kind of crappy. Because if you had Arcane Golem, then
Yeah.
Alchemix Brad, instead of going with a Harvest Golem hero power here, he'd be going with a Yeti hero power here, which would be kind of crazy.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
And he picks up the buzzard. Alchemix, why are you stealing our look? So yeah, he's able to get that buzzard out, able to get that unleashed, able to actually do something this turn instead of just, you know, hero power pass.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
You think he goes face here? Or you think he does some kind of a trade? I think he's probably gonna go face. Oh,
I think I think that's correct, because if he has swipe, it's just so bad to like
Yeah.
not clear at least that 2-1.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Brad's got double Yeti,
He's got
Azure
swipe,
Drake.
so
He's
pretty
got
easy swipe right here.
Oh, he does have swipe. GG, good swipe.
GS, good swipe.
Yeah, GS, good swipe. Okay. Now you've got 6 mana, 2 arcane golems, a freezing trap, tracking. I like tracking because you don't like any of this. And Eaglehorn's good. And then what about a flare? No flare, goes for the freezing trap. Okay. He tries to stop the damage. That's going to be a very expensive harvest golem. That's pretty good. He's not going to want to. What's up?
Yeah, you're basically just getting rid of the harvest golem. It's like
it'll never get played again.
Yeah, so it's like 2 mana, clear the both sides of the harvest golem. It's a really nice play from Alchemist right there.
Yeah.
And let's see, Brad is going to attempt to proc that trap with his face, unsuccessful. So yeah, he just decides, I'm not going to attack. I'm not going to give you an extra 3 damage. Why should I?
I like it. Okay, Wolf Rider. Okay, Flare's a good one. That definitely makes sense. Let's see what we can do here. His options aren't fantastic. Kill Command's not bad. You could Wolf Rider Kill Command.
That's not a beast.
It's not a beast? I have no idea what's a beast.
Wolf
you could Novice Engineer Kill Command.
It's just a gnome. It's got like big ears, kind of whatever.
I love it. You could Leroy Jenkins Kill Command. No, Leroy's not a beast either.
That's kind of okay. Now that you think about it, he's riding a wolf. Like there's a beast on the field.
No, I legitimately thought Wolf Rider was a beast. Actually.
No, I believe you, but I mean, now that we think about it, I think I might agree with you. It's like why shouldn't it be a beast? Like,
What was that second trap? Was that explosive trap?
That was explosive trap. This is actually a very nice play by Alchemixt because he's forcing Brad to proc a trap. Because unless he has Wrath, unless he has Swipe, he cannot clear, or he can clear with his face. He can clear with the Wolf Rider's face, but then he's taking more damage, right? So it's like, I am going to either make you take a lot of damage, or you will proc my trap and you will take damage. It's like, Alchemist is saying, you must take damage. I am a face hunter. You're not getting away with not taking damage, alright?
It's always frustrating for me playing against a face hunter with any hero when the traps keep coming down because you have to eventually proc them. And he attacks with the Drake first. What? Why do you attack with the Drake first?
I was thinking the same thing, and I think what he's thinking is that the Harvest Golem is more sticky and can kill more things.
Okay.
Everything in Alchemix's deck is 2 health or less.
Okay.
So he could just clear. He's able to kill more stuff. I think that's his reason.
Yeah, and you definitely leave another minion to kill. That it made no sense from an aggressive point of view, but from a defensive point of view, it's actually genius. Brad, man, I gotta give you credit. That was really smart.
I do want to critique him on his choice of not playing the Ancient Watcher though, because he could have 2, 4, 5 taunts right here, and he does not. So yeah, that's a little bit of an issue. I don't think the 1 health plus the 1 damage on Alchemix is good enough because he only has one. He only had 1 Sun Fury Protector in his hand, right? And if he had put down that Ancient Watcher, Alchemix cannot deal with it.
I see what you're saying. That's really interesting. Yeah. Well, that harvest, that golem is going to go away real soon.
However, Alchemix does double Wild Growth Brad by putting down 2 Arcane Golems. So he basically, Brad has a lot of man to work with now, but he is only at 9 health.
Yeah, and he's going to effectively be at 4, 3, 2. He's going to be at 1 health next turn, unless he obviously heroes or armors up. So, wait, Arcane Golem is not a beast. Fuck.
I was just gonna. I was trusting your help, your math. I wasn't even looking at it, but
Well, my math is sound. If there's a beast on the board, okay. So let's see what he chooses to do here. Ancient Watcher.
He wants to kill him as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And this is the way to do it by.
I like it. Yep.
Because he can silence it next turn and use Savage Roar. So he's dead next turn.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what Alchemist can top deck right here.
Okay, so Wolf Rider actually would have done it if it was a beast.
If it was a beast, it would have done it. Unfortunately, it's not a beast.
Wow.
And that is going to be game.
Oh, wait.
Brad is, sorry,
No.
does he have,
No, he's
what?
got the 2 left. He had the
Oh.
2 left.
Way to give me false hope.
I'm so
Why-
sorry.
Why
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That
Oh
is
my
actually game number
Kobayashi.
4. Alchemixt does take it, and we're going to go into one more game
Kobayashi,
potentially.
you're killing me. And this is going to be a handlock. I've seen this deck. So this is really bad for Brad. Yeah, I think if he had just played that Ancient Watcher plus the taunt, that I don't think he loses. Alchemist wouldn't have had any way to get past those 2 minions. So yeah, I think he got a little bit too caught up in thinking I need to, armor up every single turn. Armor up, shapeshift for 1, and I think just getting that Ancient Watcher out there would have been huge.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're absolutely right on that play. Just as we jump into this last game, we didn't have a chance to talk about the accomplishments of Alchemist. So let's just quickly go over those. So he's a 4 times IR3 King of the Hill winner, 2 times Deck Wars winner, ESL first place in number 2, number 9, number 3. ESL second place finish in number 28. He's been top 5. He's got top 5 legend in season 1, and many other great accomplishments. So this is all from our player who is potentially going to be our first ever DKMR Invitational challenger, victorious challenger.
Yeah. So how much is he going to win if he wins this?
God, a lot.
I think it's like 5, because I think like all the numbers have been thrown around have been kind of assuming that it adds 100 each week, but it only adds 75 each week. Yeah, I don't think that the amount on the Ghost of Gamers website is actually correct.
The prize pool. Okay, so
So this is DKMR Invitation number 6, right?
Yeah.
So $75 from the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one.
So it'll be $475 total.
475 plus the 25.
No.
Just 475 total.
Yeah.
All right, so 475 total, and unfortunately, we don't have more money given out than NESL King of the Hill. Anyway, let's go back to this game. We need to figure out who's going to win this. This is actually a pretty decent start from Brad. He's able to get that big minion out there, and he's able to essentially get something that he could potentially taunt up later. So he has that Twilight Drake. This is normally people say that this is a really bad matchup for Handlock, but if you can get a lot of big guys out and you can taunt them, then it's really hard for a Hunter to get around them. The key is just knowing how to play the matchup, because you do not want to attack into their traps and give them more damage in order to kill you.
Right. Well said.
So he's going to go for a tracking. And picks up that kill command, which is very important. It's a very good pickup right there. Very smart of him, because he knows the taunts are going to come down, and when those taunts are going to come down, he has 7 damage in the phase with the beast and the kill command and the hero power. So Brad's looking like he's in a bit of trouble. He doesn't have any taunts at the moment. He just picked up 1 taunt, he has 2 taunts, but he didn't have any taunt givers, I should have said.
Right.
And
when the Sunwalker comes down, he does, as you just mentioned, have the Sun Fury Protector.
Yeah, so this game, basically, it's like between Handlock and Hunter is always just on pins and needles, because at any instant the game could end because of all the damage that you have from Hunter, and like basically all the damage you have from Handlock, because they're gonna be just waiting. They're not even gonna set out the traps. They're gonna wait. They're gonna get these huge minions out. They're just gonna kill you in 2 seconds, and it's just like a showdown. It's gonna be Hunter facing off against all these giants with like the Warlock almost dead, and then you're gonna have just the Handlock, wondering, what am I playing against? What kind of trap is this? And
he does get lucky. The misdirection hits his minion, not his face, which is absolutely a good pickup here.
Actually, I think he wanted to hit his face.
Really? So you can play out the Molten for free?
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. I don't know if I would agree, but okay. I see what you're saying. And now the Unleash can kill those. Oh. Looks like we lost D2. We'll get him back in just a second here. And yep. See if you can get your video back up there. We lost you for just a second.
I need to. Do we need my video? I can just talk.
Okay.
I guess I could hang up and do it again.
Or.
But All right, I'll just talk like this. It's fine.
Okay.
I'll just be the stick figure on the screen.
I put your face up.
All right, cool. So yeah, we basically had Brad put out that Molten Giant, and then now we have a crazy Unleash going down, and Alchemixt is in the driver's seat because all the taunts are gone.
Yep.
And really, there's nothing for Brad to do other than Shadow Flame. You can maybe Siphon Soul or something, but
That Hunter's Mark, man, getting rid of a giant.
yeah, it's pretty insane. I do not. I mean, Alchemix has so much damage right now. Without any taunt, I don't see any way that Brad can survive this. So I think a couple of mistakes. I don't think he would have. I don't think he should have attacked that in that one instance. And I don't really see the. I didn't see the need for it because no matter what it would have been bad for him because you're allowing Alchemix more charges on his bow. You're allowing Alchemix either there's more damage on his face, or there's more it's easier to get through his taunts. And I think Brad was in a good enough position to not take that risk. But I really think what he was thinking was he wanted it to hit in his face. It's basically similar to like a Siphon Soul or a Soulfire to the face so that he could play double Molten Giant and kill him the next turn. And I think that's what the gamble that he was trying to take. He thought that it was going to be misdirection. And yeah, I think that he was in a good enough position to not have to take that 50-50. You know, yeah. I think because if he just waited for Alchemix to deal with his 4/5, he could get the double Molten Giant plus taunt out. And if he struggled to deal with a 4/5, it might have been very, very hard for him to deal with double Molten Giant taunted. And yeah, so I think that was a bit of a mistake, a bit of a needless gamble on Brad's part. And it's probably going to cost him here. And we might see the first challenger, like you said, to take it down.
Yeah, and Alchemix has played really well. Shadow Flame clears, but with 8 health, we've
8
got...
health.
Yep.
He has 5 on the board.
Yep.
So yeah, there's really almost no way.
Arcane Golem to finish it off. Wow, guys. That is GG, and big congratulations to Alchemix from Team Curse, taking down a nice hefty prize. As we mentioned here, 75 times 6 weeks is $450 plus $25 at original game. That is a $475 take for under 2 hours. Really good job. And Brad played really well. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to see if we can't get Alchemix on for an interview. So hold on here.
He's here. He's around to do that interview. Yeah, so that prize pool resets. So next week it's going to be all the way back down to $100 for our next challenger. And yeah, do you have Alchemix's contact details? Because I do.
Yes, I do.
All right.
See if we can't get him here. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, Mr. Alchemixt, congratulations.
Thank you.
This is Kobayashi Maru, and I'm here with D2, and we just wanted to reach out and talk to you a little bit about the games.
All right.
So, first things first.
Pretty nonchalant.
What did you think of the tournament? What did you think of the event?
Well, I won, so I'm obviously happy with that. But yeah, it was pretty well run. I just feel like it was kind of hard to prepare for. I mean, obviously, it ended up working out in my favor, but because like ideally you want 7 different decks, just so that like you're kind of unpredictable. But then like obviously all 7 different decks, not all of them would be on the same power level. I might not feel comfortable with all those decks and whatnot.
So as we were preparing for you, we knew you run a lot of aggro decks, and we kind of like were thinking about the mind games. You know, we think you're playing aggro. You know that we think you might play aggro. So maybe you play something different. What was your mindset coming into it?
Pretty much exactly that. Like I know you guys know, and I know Kisstafer definitely knows that I pretty much always play Zoo and Hunter. So I figured if I played Handlock against Kisstafer, it might almost be like a free win because I feel like he would like 99% of the time mulligan for Zoo. So I decided to that's why I decided for Handlock. I also had, I don't think I played Druid once, but I had Druid in both of those lineups.
Oh, okay.
I'm not like super comfortable with Druid, but I mean, how hard can Druid be, you know? And then
Yeah, Druid...
I had Warrior. I don't know if you saw my deck title, but I really struggled to pick a fourth deck, and I don't play Miracle Rogue, or I refuse to play Miracle Rogue rather. So I was just like, I threw in Warrior. You know, why not? It's a golden hero, so gotta show off that bling.
Yeah,
that was quite a bit of bling.
We saw the golden hero with the golden coin and the golden card. So
you will.
Yeah.
There is no.
Were you wanting to go second just to show off that golden coin with your golden hero?
Obviously. Well, I was against Rogue too, so yeah, I'd like to go second.
Yeah, exactly. So how does it feel like knowing that you've accomplished what Wampy, Chalky, Rayned, Ignite, and who was our other player? Z-Rusher.
Yeah, Z-Rusher.
How do you feel accomplishing what none of those players could even get close to accomplishing?
I mean, it feels great, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely had more of the luck on my side in the best of 7. I mean, I was unlucky with the brawl, but and Handlock's like a good matchup anyway. So I mean, I definitely had to get pretty lucky for Druid and Rogue. But Brad's been on a pretty big streak too, so it was about time for his luck to run out too.
Yeah, Brad's been really unstoppable, and I would say that is the most impressive thing about your victory tonight. You played well. You kind of understood the potential mind games, and you didn't play into them. You played them to your advantage, and ultimately you won. But again, you didn't just take out Kisstafer, you took out Brad. And it's easy to look at the games and just say, yeah, you played good. No one's come close to beating Brad. Nobody has come close. So I
was pretty worried. I'm not gonna lie. I was not the most confident coming into this, just because he's been on such a huge streak.
Mm-hmm. And again, you had luck on your side. No one watching the games didn't think you had luck, but luck alone will do nothing. You know, I mean, you played incredibly well. So, what would you say was other than some luck, which is obviously there? What would you say is the most helpful thing to your win tonight, or what really took you overboard? What do you think was the most helpful?
I think in any type of I don't know, I guess if you want to call it like a series or a show match where you're only playing against one, or in this case 2 people, I would say like over 50% of it is just preparation and like the mind games like you were talking about, and picking the right decks for the right person, and knowing what to lead with, what to save for your counter decks, and then you have to play relatively well, and you have to get a little lucky.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Go ahead, finish, please.
I was just saying, I'm actually not comfortable at all playing Handlock. I'm probably going to rewatch this whole thing, and I don't play a lot of Druid either, so I was a little nervous because I wasn't sure how to weigh the my skill with the deck as opposed to the potential mind game of not having it not be expected. So that was kind of a tough decision.
Right. So
you said yourself that you decided not to play Miracle Rogue and that you're not too familiar with the Druid. How are you managing to deal with the current meta? That's just those 2 decks are completely just rampant all over the place. How are you countering that?
Well, I used to go to Zoo to beat Druid, but now that a lot of those really taunt heavy decks come out, it's not you can't really do that reliably. So that's why I've been practicing Handlock a bit. And then Miracle Rogue, I don't know, that deck's way too good. You have to either play something like the Trap Hunter, or you just have to hope that they don't draw Auctioneer on time, pretty much.
Let me just correct some things we said earlier, guys. We probably just talked about the numbers, about the winning and the prize pool incorrectly. I just spoke to the head of DKMR and the person who runs this tournament, Poach, and the prize pool for tonight is in fact $550. So that is what you will be winning. What are you going to do with that money, man?
I'll probably keep a little bit for myself, and then I got my wife's got some med school loans, so probably the rest of it's going to go towards that.
That's some good scratch to put towards those med school loans.
Yep, and then maybe buy some packs. I have I pretty
More
much
golden
have a
cards.
100% golden collection, except for I have all the golden cards to make any class, any deck, except for Paladin. So maybe I'll put this towards that.
What about Naxxramas, man? You gonna buy some Naxxrami?
Yeah, I got some gold saved up to buy the wing or whatever it's called, and then I have 4K dust saved up for the because that's going to go towards those golden cards. Because I think after you get, they said you can craft them.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you're talking about, back to the games a little bit, about choosing your decks. I would say that was the thing I was most interested by tonight in what you did different. I thought your deck choices, again, you won, so they were obviously better than other people who played, but they were more different than anyone else. Your choice of the decks in the way, in the order you played them, and even Brad got a lucky win with that first match with the Miracle Rogue. He was way behind. There was maybe a play that could have potentially given you the win there that turned into his favor. But ultimately, then something happened a few games later where Brad did something that he maybe didn't need to do that gave you a win. So it kind of flip-flopped potential wins that could have been on each of your favor. But ultimately, you seem to have those answers. I think the one game I'm thinking about that made a big difference was when his warrior couldn't beat your was it your hunter? Right?
Hunter.
That was just unreal. That was unreal.
Yeah, I looked at my hand and I'm like, well, if he has a Cruel Taskmaster, that's pretty bad. If he has a Whirlwind, I might just concede on the spot. But he never had a Whirlwind, and I kept drawing the one toughness guy. It's like, well, if he didn't have Whirlwind last turn, he probably doesn't have it this turn.
Yeah.
I just basically went all in on him and not having Whirlwind didn't work out.
You did. You went all in on no Whirlwind, and it got you $550, my friend.
Yeah. But overall, my general strategy was against Kisstafer, I just wanted to be sort of unpredictable with my decks, and then against Brad, I spent like hours trying to figure out what the best lineup would be and everything, and I actually came to what I thought would be the best lineup, but I just in the end I just decided to go with all the decks that I feel the most comfortable with, which is Rush Hunter, Warrior, Zoo, and then Druid. I just feel like Druid probably isn't that difficult, at least the deck list that I submitted.
Were you a little bit relieved to win and to beat his Druid, because his Druid has gone basically 12-0 in
oh my god, yeah,
the hill. So were you happy to have taken that one down at that time?
Yeah, when he brought out the Druid, I was talking to myself. I was like, well, if I beat this, then I probably just win, right? And then I probably got lucky in that matchup. I mean, it's hard to tell from not seeing his hand, but I feel like I think I could have died to the combo if he had it, and I think attacking with the Azure Drake seemed odd to me, but maybe he had something else in mind. I thought maybe he was going to attack with the Azure Drake, get it frozen trapped or whatever, and then play it again to try to dig for the combo or something, but then he just never replayed it.
I thought that too, and D2 had a good point, is that the Harvest Golem, as it dies and creates the damage golem, both of those gives you more opportunity to clear your little minions.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Go ahead, D2.
So there was one mistake that Brad had in that game, or from our vantage point.
Yes.
In that when he did that move, he could have put down a Yeti, an Ancient Watcher, and a Sun Fury Protector, and he had no more Sun Fury Protectors in hand. So,
but he hero powered instead of putting down the Ancient Watcher. Big mistake.
So like maybe a little bit luck there, and
we say that with love though, because Brad's been unstoppable. So if you are watching or listening, we love you, man. But we thought that was a pretty tough mistake. I
mean, if anyone plays a best of 7, you're probably going to make either a mistake or just a bad judgment call at some point, because you're probably going to play around something that you don't need to play around. You're going to have maybe just make a mistake in general, or there's so many things that go on that it'd be really hard to play a perfect best of 7.
Oh, for sure. Look, ultimately, this is a game. We all care about it. We're passionate about it. But he didn't do anything life-threatening here. We're just talking about ways we think that in a potential game, a potential player could have won. So
Yep.
As far as your play, I think you played very, very well. There was one play that I think was a little bit iffy. Is that when he had the Van Cleef plus the Violet Teacher and the Earthen Ring Farster, and you threw down a Sylvanas instead of going for
Well, at first I was like, well, Sylvanas is best when he has minions, and if he doesn't kill that brawl. And then he played Sap, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that.
I forgot that's a card.
It's like of all the scenarios, and just somehow Sap.
I love it. No, actually, dude, I can so relate to that. That you look at a card and you think of all of the things that make it best to play, and you think of counters, but you don't think of the one counter that ultimately makes it useless. I can so relate to that.
I mean, it should be so obvious. Like, Sap should be the first thing to come to my mind when playing against Miracle Road. I don't know, it's just kind of like a brain fart, I guess.
No, I feel you. Like, whenever I think of a card, it's like, oh, like Sylvanas. You want minions on board, you want to retake board control. That makes a lot of sense. Like, play it. And then you're like, oh, yeah.
Yep.
Funny. Cool. Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've got to thank Hearth2P, Waypoint Media, Hearthstats, Gunner, Hearthstone Players, iHearthU, Make Me a Dragon, Masterclass, Don't Kick My Robot, D2, Brad, Alchemixt, Kisstafer, Poach, everyone, anyone. We're going to thank Blizzard for getting Naxxramas out finally. And anyone I've forgotten, thank you. You guys are all amazing. Next week, we're going to have another great player. Oh, yeah, D2, what do you want to say?
Oh, just asking Alchemixt if he wants to have his own shoutouts at this moment.
Oh, I was going to let you both do shoutouts, but I was going to say before that, that next week we have another guest. Next week it is Meet Your Maker Skip. So tune in for that. It's going to be a great game. Alchemixt, go for it.
Skip carrying a single tier because Alchemixt took all his potential money.
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry, Skip.
Yo, dude, he just got skipped.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to do a quick shout out to Curse and their sponsors, Cooler Master, Alienware, Energems, and also I don't stream on Twitch. I stream on Azubu, so if any of you guys want to check that out, go for it. I know some people just refuse to go there, but hey, if you want to see me stream, check it out.
That's Azubu /
And thanks for DKMR for being great as always.
And what's your stream there? Azubu / what?
Just Alchemixt is my in-game name.
Great. There it is, guys. Anything else?
Nope, just thanks for having me.
Okay. G2, man, it is on you.
Yeah, so you mentioned all our sponsors. I just want to thank all of my teammates for being awesome. Obviously, Brad and Kisstafer, but also Brandis, Born, White Powder, Hosty. And we're going to get next week.
Guys, I've been informed I was wrong, even though I've got some notes here saying that next week is Skip. Next week is Trump. You guys, Trump. That is Mr.
Trump doesn't need money.
Mr. Trump. He doesn't need money. So, yeah, guys, Trump will be next week. That will be a great show. So really looking forward to having you guys coming out and watching Trump battle it out against two players from DKMR who will be determined at this week's event.
Yeah, no offense to Skip, but Trump is a massive name. Maybe the biggest name in Hearthstone at this moment. So make sure you guys come and watch that next week.
Yeah, check it out, guys. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Good night.